moved and we moved and went overseas and didn't get a lot of time together in recent years, but wound up, I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, so it was driving distance to up here several times. Paul and I came, and then I came up for their anniversary, which was just after Paul left for heaven. So Nancy and Ellen have been precious, precious friends, and I just miss knowing that she's in the world, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys have lots of pictures of me and Paul and the kids. So it's a privilege to have known them, and an imprint made on my heart that will last all the rest of my life. Because she loved the Lord, we often had time to pray together. If something was going on, or if it wasn't going on, something special, we spent a lot of time praying together too. So it's a precious memory.
Thank you.
Mom was quite a character.
Yes.
You can hear from some of the testimonies, and she was one of a kind. And the thing that stands out to me the most is her love. I know she loved her husband immensely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She loved her daughters.
Yes.
And when her grandkids came along, it just stepped up even more. She just loved her grandkids as well. And from day one, she loved me. She treated me like a son from day one. And from day one, I didn't deserve it, trust me. Yeah, I looked at some of the pictures and, teenager, and, of course, we all knew everything when we were teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
Mom's ability to love was just one of her greatest characteristics to me, and I thank her for that. I was fortunate to have two mothers that loved me like sons.
Aw, thanks, Tab.
Hi, my name's Lori, and I'm a friend of Nancy for quite a few years. And so many things have been said about her, so I don't have a whole lot to add other than how much she loved her family, how much we prayed for her family, and how the family, the girls, Alan, have honored her so well this past month in caring for her and loving her. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Hi, I'm Virginia. I'm Nancy and Alan's youngest daughter. Chatty Cathy, Ginger Snap. I mean, I've got all kinds of nicknames that go back from me being a bouncy, talkative little one. That hasn't stopped. So if anyone wasn't gonna share, I gotta get that last word in for Mom. She'd be disappointed otherwise. You might see on one of the ribbons on the flower spread there, we have wife, mom, grandma, that's what Nathan called her, Granny Boom Boom. I'll tell you that story a second. And then I believe it's sister, aunt, and friend. So Granny Boom Boom came along when Arthur's 15, Nathan's 14, Oliver's almost 13. And Arthur's about 3 years old. He was sitting with Mom in her sunroom, and there was in the east wing, as she called it, because Dad, to let some light in the house and help with some of her depression times, he built on a west sunroom and an east sunroom to bring more light in the house, bless him. So her favorite room there was quite a big thunderstorm happening, and it was beautiful, and Arthur was sitting on her lap, and she was saying, well, the lightning strikes, and he said, Granny, and then she goes, the thunder, boom, boom, and he goes, Granny, boom, boom, and so ever since then, it just stuck, sometimes they call her Granny, but Granny Boom Boom is just a kind of a name that stuck, it's just my mom's spunk, she just always had a sense of humor, even if she was in pain, she could be in tears and just say something that would just light up the room with her beautiful high cheekbones and big, beautiful smile. I'm going to share a story that might not be completely appropriate, but for my mom, I'll do it. And it's a little kid story, so it's not that bad. But this is a story I heard from both of my parents throughout the years. So when they were in one of the parsonages, when I was about 3 years old, they had all the deacons and deacons' wives and however that all worked. But, you know, beautiful place, you know, everything was set up and having a big dinner. And I was at the end of the table in a high chair, about 3, Dad? Okay. And apparently I passed some gas and stood up and said, "Oops, my body blew up." And I don't know what happened after that, but it's just been always one of those things that moms have just been, "Oh, did your body blow up?" You know, so we could just laugh about stuff. And honestly, it's been a gift for her honesty about, you know, what our body is, what our body was, what our feelings are, you know, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and just being honest. And I've been able to pass that on with my kids and talk freely, and my nephew Nathan, you know, to just like, "Hey, what are you feeling? What do you want to do?" And even in the last like 5 days of Mom's life, all 3 of these boys were so incredible. They're like, "We want to be with Granny. We want to be with Grandpa." And I said, you know, forget school, you'll catch up. You know, whatever you feel is right in your heart is going to be what's right. And they stayed the night, they stayed the day. Arthur chopped some wood for Grandpa out back. They did fires. You know, Nathan did some pictures. And I mean, they just rallied together. So my mom was genuinely surrounded by family. And then some friends too that came to visit, and she could hear. You know, they say hearing is the last thing to go. And we'd say, "Mom, we're gonna take a picture." "Ah!" You know, like she could hear it. She knew. And her biggest wish was to not end up in a nursing home for various reasons, but my dad did. He honored that. Things got tough for a little bit, but it was like, no, we're gonna respect Nancy's wish, and she got that wish. She got her own bed in the sunroom where she could see her trinkets and ships up on the windowsills, and the light would come up in the morning and shine right on her face. And so it really truly was a beautiful, beautiful experience. I never ever thought that death could be such a beautiful thing. And I felt it when I kissed her goodbye that day. All of us girls had left, the grandkids weren't there anymore. We just had kind of went to take care of ourselves. You know, I had labs and we just took care of ourselves. And in that moment, my dear friend Karen stepped in, and that's where I felt comfortable to leave. I didn't want to let go of my mom's hand for her sake. But I'm like, okay, Karen's there, the hospice nurse is there, and Dad's there. I can go take care of myself. And when I kissed her goodbye, I said, "I know you're gonna be my guardian angel soon." And it was within 20 minutes that she had passed. And Dad had actually, Marcia called and said she's on her way back. And Dad said, "Well, Marcia, you know, Nancy Joe, Marcia will be here in about 15 minutes. And before she got there, she just had a very, as Karen was there, a very sweet, just as peaceful as a person could go. And I just thank God for that, and I'm so glad that my dad, the one that her knight in shining armor, as she said, was right there by her side. You know, it was just the way that God intended it. So I wanted to share that because it truly, truly has changed my life. And she is free of pain. I feel it, you know, she's given me signs. Dad couldn't find his Bible yesterday morning, and it was like, okay, Karen, help me pray. Aunt Peggy, help me pray. And Mom had it stuffed underneath a TV with her mom's Bible and with Dad's Bible and a photo album from their wedding. And so I think she snuck it to have some comfort because Dad always kept track of it. So there have just been so many God moments. It's the only way to even describe it. So if anyone else would like to speak, that's great, but I feel like I've done my mom proud. And I followed up with my chatty Cathy-ness, and I thank you all so much for being here. She is dancing in heaven, and she's having a blast seeing all you guys be here and support all of us and celebrate her life.
Hi. So, I don't have my bright glasses on right now, so I may not be able to see this. But as you know, my mom kept many clippings, several clippings, and this is one that I actually found when I was looking through
Good job.
for pictures. Little did, well, I can see a little better, sorry. Okay.
Hold the microphone for her.
Little did we know that morning that God was going to call your name. Someone, I can't see, I'm sorry.
Do you want me to hold the microphone?
Sure.
Go ahead. Hold it for her.
Sorry. Deep breath. Someone remember, I can't see, I'm sorry. Someone remembers. Someone cares. Sorry,
Not Nathan to read
I
that?
can't read it.
Okay.
Does anybody have a magnifying glass?
Thank you. Sorry.
Little did God know, we know the morning that God was going to call your name. Someone remembers, someone cares, your name is whispering in our prayers. To hear your voice, to see your smile, to sit with you and talk a while. Be together in the same old way. Would we be our fondest wish today? May the winds of love below softly whisper so you'll hear. We will always love and miss you and wish that you were here. Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. Unseen, unheard, but always near. Still loved, still missed, and still very dear.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, thank you. Yes?
If that's the last, I'll just say something. I can talk loud enough, but.
Speak up.
So I know that some of our childhood, high school friends are here, and they probably have thought this was not always easy to stand up and talk in front of people, so thank you for everybody who was able to do that. But when Mom had, a couple little jobs here and there, but for the most part, like, we had said, she was at home. She was probably home 50% of the time, Rod sailing 50% of the time. But we had a pool when we were kids, and there's quite a few of you friends here of Virginia's and Laura's and mine that, I'm sure you remember those days and how fun they were. And my mom was just a mom to all of our friends, and she loved you very much.
Thank you, Marcia.
Okay. Now, following up with what Marcia just said, John and Laurel Herrick are here, and John was pastor of Allendale Baptist Church back in the 80s, and they would have youth meetings at that poolside, along with other friends from the youth group, and so those are, well, they're pictured, and good memories. Well, thank you for sharing each one that did, and we're just gonna take a little different break and sing Amazing Grace. All right, and join right in with it.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now
thoughts here now. I'm not gonna preach at you, but conversationally share some things. The songs that we sing now and later, they're also songs that Nancy liked and indicated she would like for the service. Her life verses that she really loved was Jeremiah 29:11 through 13. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me, and you shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And you shall seek me and find me when you shall search for me with all of your heart. Now this message was shared by the prophet to the folks who were in the Babylonian captivity, facing all kinds of negativity and basically, in their thoughts, ruin for their life. And the prophet gave them hope. It's not in what you're going to find if you move to a different land or what you might have. Your hope is trusting in the Lord. And there's so many scriptures that back that up from Genesis through Revelation. It's God's admonition to us here through the prophet, but through other prophets, other passages, in trusting the Lord and knowing Him. And the best knowledge you can have is knowing Christ. And nothing more important in life and in death. When we are called home, it's instantly being with the Lord and enjoying all of the promises and everything that He had provided for us. And if you're here today and you're having trouble in your life and there's some issues you don't know what to do with, give them to God. He will show you a path and a way to victory and to succeed with whatever's happening. With that, just want to share they brought up some of the silliness that Nancy displayed through the years. And I don't know if her friend Mary is here. Mary is up under the weather. But she remembered a time when she came to the house. Nancy was on the back deck. She was all dressed up as Lucille Ball. and doing some of the character things that Lucille did. And other famous people she put on a costume, dress up, imitate them, share things that they did. But Mary said she'd come and she'd just laugh and laugh and laugh. and Nancy enjoyed humoring people. But also the serious side. Some of you would know that she, in her earlier years, suffered from bipolar disorder. And it's a very difficult thing for a person to live with. At times, they don't know that they're in some of the manic episodes and everything else. And tied in with that, one of the things she did she did photographs of accidents for Channel 13 and barn fires and anything that came along, because in those days they didn't have the roving reporters in their vehicles for them to do it themselves. And she and I got to know almost every Ottawa County deputy by name, but they also were aware that things weren't totally right. This lady's doing this photography, she's doing a good thing, she's running to Channel 13 so it gets on the news and all of that, and they would look out for her. And I would receive calls, Nancy's at such and such a place off of 31, and she's sitting in her car. And so then I would go get her, we'd go get the car the next day, or whatever. But, and for you younger folks that are here, know that just as those deputies looked out for Nancy, they're there to do good. We need to respect the police, the deputies, and appreciate the difficult job they have. But they don't do just chasing cops and robbers, you know. It's they're there to look out for folks, and so young folks keep that in mind, please. But just one other episode of that bipolar disorder. One night I didn't know where she was. I drove around a bit to see if I'd see the car, and she may have told me some of what she was going to do. And here I went by down M45, and the van was in front of the embassy. And